Welcome back to Self-Advocacy Matters, the podcast where we highlight stories of people who fought for themselves and in doing so, changed the world. So, with that said, today we're talking about Alice Wong, a powerhouse in disability advocacy, storytelling, and media. She is the founder of the Disability Visibility Project, the editor of Disability Visibility First Person Stories from the 21st Century, and the host of the Disability Visibility Podcast. Try saying that three times fast. Alice Wong has spent decades making sure disabled voices aren't just heard, they're amplified, celebrated, and centered in conversations about culture, media, and policy. She also founded hashtag Crip the Vote, a movement to increase political participation among disabled people. Because let's be honest, if you're tweeting about disability advocacy, Alice Wong probably already made it trend. So, Alice Wong was born on March 27th, 1974, in Indianapolis, Indiana, to parents who immigrated from Hong Kong. She was born with spinal muscular atrophy, which meant by age 7 she stopped walking. But that didn't stop her from rolling into history. She earned a BA in English and sociology from Indiana University. Purdue University in Indianapolis in 1997, and then pursued a master's in medical sociology at UCSF, graduating in 2004. Her academic path gave her tools to analyze systemic barriers disabled people face. Fun fact, while most kids were binge watching TV or figuring out which sneakers were cool, Alice was archiving stories, blogging about disability rights, and quietly plotting how to change the world. Because why wait for change when you can start building it yourself? In 2014, Alice launched the Disability Visibility Project, a platform where disabled people could share their own stories, unfiltered and authentic. No pity, no gatekeepers, just real lived experience. Alice had said, I wanted to create a space where disabled people could tell their own stories, in their own words, without someone else deciding what was important. The project collects essays, oral histories, and media from disabled people across the U.S. and beyond. Alice personally curates submissions to ensure each voice is honored. Then came the Disability Visibility Podcast, which ran for 100 episodes. Topics included the Americans with Disabilities Act, representation in media, intersectionality, and community activism. Guests ranged from artists and tech innovators to scholars and activists, all sharing insights with Alice's signature mix of curiosity, respect, and occasional sass. Alice is all about making heavy topics feel personal, accessible, and sometimes even funny. Advocacy doesn't have to be grim. Alice Wong's advocacy isn't just impactful, it's revolutionary. She doesn't just challenge the status quo, she rewrites the narrative. In 2015, Alice made history by attending a White House reception for the 25th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act via telepresence robot. That's right. She sent a robot to the White House before it was cool. Talk about leading the way. She has edited two influential eth- ethologies: Disability Visibility, First Person Stories from the 21st Century, and Disability Intimacy, Essays on Love, Care, and Desire, giving disabled writers a platform to challenge stereotypes and foster a more inclusive narrative. Alice also founded hashtag Crip the Vote, a nonpartisan online movement encouraging disabled people to vote. Because if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. Her advocacy has influenced media, literature, and policy, proving that one person, plus a robot, can make a huge difference. Alice Wong isn't just an advocate, she's a storyteller with wit, humor, and personality. Her personal touch shines through in everything she does. In her memoir, Years of the Tiger, An Activist Life, Alice Alice mixes personal anecdotes with humor, to discuss serious topics like disability, identity, and activism. Her writing style invites readers to her world, making complex issues relatable. Her humor also shows in public appearances. She has a knack for tackling serious topics with levity, disarming audiences while delivering powerful messages. Fun fact: Alice once joked that running the Disability Visibility Project is like her full-time hobby that also happens to be changing the world. Honestly, same. So what can we learn from Alice Wong? Your voice matters. Share your story. It can challenge stereotypes and inspire change. Lift others up. Advocacy isn't just personal, it's about community. Don't hog the mic. Use all tools available: podcasts, essays, social media, anthologies. Use everything to amplify inclusion. Hey everyone. So, I recently did a video on Alice Wong and her contribution to the disability movement. Now, I was not aware of this originally, but she had passed away. I would like to read a little bit about her from the obituary. Alice Wong is a writer and activist who was born with muscular dystrophy and fought relentlessly for equal rights and access for people with disabilities. She passed away on Friday in a hospital in San Francisco. She was 51. Now, in her 2022 memoir, Year of the Tiger, An Activist's Life, Miss Wong wrote about how she faced discrimination and bullying while growing up in Indiana, which drove her to become more of an advocate and to use that individual anger to help other people. She founded the Disability Visibility Project in 2014 to interview disabled Americans about their lives. Let's see. The endeavor, which operated in collaboration with StoryCorps, an oral history project, was intended to be a one-year effort in the run-up to the 25th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act, which broadened civil rights for people with disabilities. Miss Wong's work proved so successful that it kept going, and the project eventually collected hundreds of oral histories now housed at the Library of Congress. The Disability Visibility Project spoke to one of her driving passions: to bring attention to disabled people as a productive members of society, even as society continues to push them into the margins. So, and this is a quote from her. One of the things that really gives me joy is the fact that there are so many amazing, brilliant, creative, disabled people out there, Ms. Wong said in a 2020 interview on the podcast City Arts and Lectures. But part of my rage, and it's a very real rage, is that most people don't really know about them. In 2024, the MacArthur Foundation awarded her a fellowship, commonly referred to as a Genius Grant, which includes $800,000. Miss Wong was adept at using social media, especially X, where she created online communities through hashtags like hashtag Criplet for writers with disabilities and hashtag Crip the Vote, a voter advocacy effort. She was concerned about what the 2024 re-election of Donald J. Trump as president would mean for disabled Americans and their health care. Now, I can keep going on and on about what it says in her obituary, but um, she was a powerful woman who made way for people with disabilities through online social media and advocacy. And her contribution to the movement is one that is tough to replace. But I'd like to think that advocates coming in will find a way to not only keep her contribution alive, but will improve on it and make the fight stronger.